probably it explains why if people think of LaFace Records, you guys don't jump out in as much because you probably weren't as embedded in the Atlanta scene with the rest. Right. Did you think that harms the longevity of being with LaFace being under, because I know LA and Babyface?
No, we didn't think any of that because we were confident, and it didn't matter if we were in Connecticut. You know, we really didn't care. We were confident, and we knew that all we needed was for our music to get out there, and our charisma would take over. Anything after that. But you know, it felt kind of weird. But at the time, you couldn't, you know, once the brotherhood got tainted and pieces started falling off, you know, you really couldn't predict what new members and what people would do. So then, you know, that started the downfall of who we were at the time. Thank God, and how we dispersed from that unit at the time.
But we never decided we was going to disband. That was
we never ever disband. We'd always had this core.
Never an option.
Yeah. So the single comes out last night, and it's on the, is it Not the Professor soundtrack?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Russell.
So yeah, when he was still working. But so it comes out, and it was a very, wasn't an expensive video because it's very imaginative, you know, there's a sort of spinning and everything, but I would have thought green screen, it was probably...
It was blue screen.
Oh, blue screen.
At the time. It was very expensive. It was directed by Billy Woodruff, who actually worked on Empire. I mean, and what's that, Star? Yeah, and Empire. He did work on both of those. Yeah, he had the vision at the time. It was way ahead of its time at the time, but it was pretty expensive.
Because I would have thought that, oh, it was just one of those, you get a screen and you just change the background and you just spin it around, that it would have been much cheaper than...
It's easy to do now.
Right. You needed a supercomputer back then.
They said Waterfalls was like a $5 million video.
Yeah. Well, they had CGI with them doing their thing, so I could understand that. But I thought that, oh, this is a nice, very low cost, low budget video that you guys had. But that wasn't. Now, because when they're coming up with the concept of the video, are they saying, so this is what you guys are paying for? And you guys say, yeah. What's it like?
We read the treatment, you look at the prices, and you go pay it. You know, sky's the limits.
Well, that being our first video, I mean, it was like all or nothing.
You got to make an impact. You got to make a splash.
Okay.
Right.
So when Kenny had finished the song, did you think, wow, this is going to be a #1 hit? Could you feel that, or was it like?
Yeah. We felt that. We felt that. We knew that and then it happened to be the first one to come out. Yeah, that's
#1 on the R&B charts, Billboard, and I think top 5, top 2, something like that at Top of the Pops. Yeah, and Hard to Say I'm Sorry as well, you know.
Yeah, and so you're living in LA. I lived in LA I lived in Redondo Beach, so it's not a cheap place to live.
Sherman Oaks.
Yeah.
You were Sherman Oaks, okay.
Sherman Oaks, baby. Born here for like 20 years. Yeah. We've been in LA for like 20 years at the time. But we were like flying in and out. You know, we were going to Holland a lot because we were really huge in Holland. We were really huge in Australia. You know, we've done, Germany so many times, London. We stayed at Grosvenor House too many times.
Oh, okay.
It's still
it's still there. But I mean, I was saying that when the song, your first single, blows up like that, what does it do for the group when your first single blows up like that, do you get a lot of love from the labels and everyone's saying, okay, what do you want, or what's it like?
Job security. It feels great. I mean, to know that all the hard work that we did over the years, you know, even for the members that wasn't with us at the time, I mean, it was so gratifying to hear, you know, your music on the radio for the first time, and to be going over to other countries and they screaming for you like crazy. And we can't thank Babyface enough, Brian McKnight enough, Peter Cetera, David Foster enough. I mean, for just giving us the inspiration to do what we love to do. And we will do this probably until we die, because we love music.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ramon Baines.
and Courtney.
Yeah.
And so were you then told that, look, because you didn't write the songs, so where you get the bulk of your money would be touring, then were you able to support the album and on tours heavily in that 95, 96?
In 96, 97.
Man, look, all of the touring money and everything all consumed itself. We were out there doing what we love to do, and it was just that. I mean, you're talking about kids. I mean, we weren't kids. We were just basically in our early 20s.
Yeah.
You know, and everything was yes. There was rarely many no's. Everything was yes. So yes, we like that for the tour. Yes, we like those outfits. Yes, we like this budget for the video. Yes, we like these songs. And it just goes past. It's so much fun, goes past like that. And then you turn around and then bam, the internet.
Oh, Napster.
You said
I was out there, yeah. I was out there.
All the record stores closed.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the biggest record label of all time emerges. iTunes.
Yeah.
And then the world changes. Now there's a viral thing going on. Get viral, do something. You know, if we would have had these tools when we were back in like 93, 92, I can't even imagine. You know, we may be on Queen status.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, it happens that everything happens for a reason. Times change.
Yeah.
You know, who knows why Take Six decided to be gospel and not R&B. You know, who knows why the internet made the crash and everything. But today, everything is not what it was. So you cannot use the formulas of yesterday to get to what you need to today.
Yeah.
Unless, you know, you're lucky.
Unless you want to get swindled by the same people.
Yeah. After the success of the first single, first album, what happened with why not the second with LaFace?
At that time, it was about us. And like I said, when you lose the brotherhood that you started out with, and it no longer is as fun as it was.
No longer genuine.
When it became a job to us, that's when things changed. So, I mean, and that's a whole nother book, you know. Like I said, our story, we do have our story, our As Yet story. It'll be coming out fairly soon. But you know, you have to check out that, I mean, to get the full story and to understand who we are, where we come from, and what we're about.
We're still living it though.
We're still living it, that's right.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying that it was the actual, it wasn't that LA says, you know, even though you've gone platinum and stuff, we're not going to put a second album. It was you guys saying, we're not in the right position to continue recording.
It was us that couldn't see each other for who we were. And for that, you know, we couldn't go any further with who we were at the time. And, you know, that's the rule. If it ain't working, you got to fix it, you got to change it. So we couldn't go no further with ourselves at the time. You know, that once that first album was over, and the unit that we were at the time, the five of us, it was not going any further.
Yeah.
We wouldn't allow it to go any further with the members that we had.
So then what does LA, what does Face, what do they say? Do they come and say, get your act together? Or how did that mean? Because you're successful, but even though internally you guys aren't, your hearts aren't there, but you know, they've signed you up and expect something. How did they feel let down, or what's?
You know, they had a hand in it. Of course, they had a hand in it as well. So I can't really go into much detail about the personal side of, you know, the meetings between us and LA Reid, the meetings between us and Babyface, us and Jackie McCorn and our management. But, you know, things weren't right. Attitudes weren't right. And we couldn't move no further at the time. And we put it to bed at that time. And then we emerged always who we are. And we just had to cut the fat.
Yeah. So did you guys, does LaFace drop as yet? Or what happens technically, like, you know, were you still technically signed to them? Technically, you could say we were dropped. I mean, you know, when you ain't showing up to work and you're not the same, we expected that. But see, that was, you know, in a lot of ways, you can't go further until you get what you need to go further. So if you're stuck on that label, which I'm so glad that we didn't, you know, they gave us the luxury of dropping us instead of shelving us. That would have been even worse. So, but like I said, at the time they could have shelved us because the industry went. Yeah. And that was that. So I guess what I'm trying to say, because you asked in the questions, but I guess what I'm trying to say to the answer to your question is, we met a time where the industry collapsed at the same time that we were done. Yeah. So it wasn't really like we were dropped, because LaFace dropped. Everything dropped. Yeah. The internet dropped everything coming into 2000. 2000, yeah, and LaFace gets merged into Arista and J Records. Yeah. And then we picked back up at DreamWorks Records, but that's another story. No. So in the midst of all this stuff, we you know, through all this, I guess there are two questions. One is, how do you guys earn before this new incarnation and before the talk about the new project you have? How does one earn money when you're not touring and you're not releasing an album and you're living in a very expensive city like Los Angeles? But we were touring. We were still performing. We were still going to Australia. We were still going to Amsterdam. We were still, it was sporadic, but you know, we stuck together. You know, we did it in Malaysia. You know, we traveled and stuck together.
We still made music.
We still made music.
We still lived our lives. You know, we all have our own families and grew that way as well. So everything was just not being in the music all the time, but we never let the music go. Yeah. Which is good. And I guess that's the one thing that we you know, we got used to seeing music videos and seeing people on the radio, and when we don't, we have no idea that you're still doing the circuits, you're still sustaining, you're still releasing music to perform. So there's 4 of you here now. How did this sort of foundation where you guys are now, and sort of the ownership of having a brand name, having your own label, and taking ownership, when did it begin, and how did everyone get sort of brought in?
Okay, so we brought Claude back, and what was that?
12, actually.
13.
Actually, it was 12.
12, I'm sorry.
But I couldn't
We
do
bought,
it.
me and Kenny were a part of the Marvin Gaye's My Brother Marvin play for Marvin Gaye's story.
Okay.
And that was in 2012. And then we had an offer, you know, there was this, in Malaysia, there was an Idol winner. She was a Malaysian Idol winner. She wanted to do a song with her favorite artist, which was As Yet at the time. So at the time is when we picked Claude back up and we went to Malaysia and we did this beautiful song called Magical Moment and shot a video for it and started the ball to everything that we're doing right now.
So, I mean, they're calling you back after all this time. You've seen them #1 record. Were you ready to leave life and just jump on the road, or was it easy to say yes?
I mean, yeah. I mean, when I left, it was because of family circumstances, you know. I mean, I was then married at the time. My wife was, she was pregnant. She was very sickly, you know, and it caused lots of problems, you know. Miraculously, when I did leave and we moved to Georgia with prayer and with the support of the family, she got herself together, you know. The baby, you know, the baby came out healthy, you know, everything was good from there. And then I had to work hard to try to keep things going, you know.
Yeah.
Dead-end jobs, trying to keep it going, you know, basically.
But what's it like seeing your guys?
It was
torture, probably.
Yeah.
Torture!
You know, I mean, I was with them from the beginning, you know. We worked so hard, you know, arranging, doing things and just loving to be with my guys. Now they're out there with these other cats out there dancing and singing. And I'm working hard every day looking at them. I'm like, damn.
Hey, but you know something? It was a no-brainer to give Claude his spot back after so many years because, man, we'd been through the trenches with this guy. I mean, you know, he was responsible for a lot of our sound in the beginning because he is the master arranger.
Oh yes, yeah. He said he was
taught us a lot in the process, and we all learned a lot from each other in the process. So it wasn't it was definitely a no-brainer to give him back his spot.
Yeah. And
so it's easy to make a decision to get back.
Yes.
but then Claude, I guess being away for such a long time, was it hard to get back into the singing? Because as I said, I'm not a singer, so I don't know what it's like when you're sort of not doing it day in, day out.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, the opportunity presented itself, you know. I was having, you know, problems in my marriage at the time, you know, and this was the perfect opportunity for me to start over, you know. And at the same time, I mean, if they had came earlier and I was able to just jump and get into the group, I would have had any chance that I would have, you know. So it was just, to me, it was a no-brainer, but the opportunity presented itself in a way where it was just easy for me to make the transition.
Yeah.